Courtesy reminder just to go ahead and mute your mics and your cameras. So welcome to our peer mentoring, the first year experience session during our virtual UTSA day. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning, afternoon now. My name is Clarissa de la Fuente and I'm a transfer specialist for UTSA. I'll be moderating and today and kind of keeping us on track, making sure we have everything ready. Again, thank you for taking your time to be with us today. We know with COVID-19 how everything has changed and how our interactions have changed. And again, we want to go ahead and thank you for joining us. It's very important to UTSA, and on behalf of UTSA, thank you. As far as what you can expect for our session, we'll be here for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And again, it's for peer mentoring, first year experience. At any point during today's presentation, if you have any questions, we welcome you to use our chat box. I'll be monitoring the chat box and looking for popular questions that we can share during our Q&A. And again, we'll try to answer some of them during the session if we can. But again, most during our Q&A into the session. Should we miss any of your questions, don't worry about it. At the end of the session, I'll be sharing information how you can contact Diana Lizonda or the First Experience team with those type of questions. Before we officially begin, just a quick reminder to mute your mics and your cameras throughout this presentation and that they stay muted. At this time, I would like to transition into starting the peer mentoring and first year experience session and the opportunity to introduce our presenter for this session, Ms. Diane Elizondo, Associate Director, and also being joined by our first year experience mentors, Faiza Dejo and Sigfredo Cruz. Again, thank you for joining us, and up now to you, Diane.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I am going to wait until my peer mentor colleagues join us on video so you can see them very quickly. And I do see in the chat that people are saying there's lots of beeping, and I think that's when people are entering WebEx. I know that there were some requests for annotating, and I can't accept the annotating request because when I do that, I can't control the screen.
I think I'm brown and now I'm white.
Sigfredo and Faiza, are you on screen?
Yes, we are.
Ma'am. Okay, I guess I can't see you. So I'll go ahead and start though. So hey everyone, welcome to our presentation about the first year experience. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you know a UTSA cheer. I want to get you really oriented to be the Roadrunners that you are. And this is a really important yell. Or cheer, whatever you'd like to call it, that we have at UTSA, and it's pretty simple. And I know you all are on mute and there's no video, so I hope with the response, Faiza and Sigfredo are going to help with the second response, and if you can just type in the response, that would be great. And so I'll say UT, and then they'll say SA, and if you can just type in SA, I just want to make sure that we have everybody to go for this presentation. So UT
SA.
Okay. UT
SA.
All right, I'm loving it. I'm seeing all the typing. That is great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks. Okay, so we're ready to go for our presentation. So welcome to UTSA, and I want to have my name. I am from San Antonio, Texas, and so I wanted our peer mentors to also introduce themselves as well.
I'm Sigfredo Cruz. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I'm currently a senior accounting major.
My name is Faiza. I'm also from Houston. I'm majoring in public health, and this is my junior year.
So you can see, oh, H-Town. All right, Melanie Guzman. All right, who else is from H-Town? Type it in there. Is it from H-Town besides Melanie, Sigfredo, and Faiza? Oh, Oh, Cece says she is. Oh, okay. I'm seeing Christine, Taylor. All right. Okay, H Townsend. Oh, Katie's there. Okay. What about Dallas? You got anybody from Dallas? Dallas? Is there anybody from Dallas? Anybody from Dallas? Big D?
I'm busy.
Hmm.
Maxine.
Okay. Helotus. All right.
I
Anybody?
just cleaned my bed.
Clean. Fort Worth. All right. Amarillo. All right. Amarillo. We were hoping Amarillo. Okay.
Hang on,
Any
people.
else? Oh, El Paso. Oh, wait, the Valley. Let's see about the Valley. If you're from the Valley, type in where you're from. Oh, California. Okay. Germany. Wow. Arizona. Corpus Christi. South Korea. Beeville. All right. Mission. Great. Oh my goodness. Those Fresnos. All right. I am so excited. And so is Sigfredo and Faiza that we have folks from all across the United States, Texas, and internationally. Welcome. Welcome to our first year experience program. So glad to have you here. I am working. So today we want to share with you a little about what is FYE. So all of y'all are making a really big, important choice about continuing your education and earning your undergraduate degree. We know that's really important, and we know how important this goal is for you. So UTSA also acknowledges how important that goal is. And so we want to make sure that when you come to UTSA, you reach that goal. We offer a number of resources, and one of them is making sure you start off your first year in the best way possible. So we offer you the first year experience. And you're going to learn in college that there's a lot of acronyms. So I'm going to go ahead and say, instead of saying the first year experience, I'm just going to say FYE. And so will Sigfredo and Faiza. So FYE. So at FYE, that's our way of introducing you to UTSA's many important resources. And when we say resources, we don't only mean academic opportunities, professional opportunities, but the people at UTSA as well. So one of the most important parts of our first year experience is mentoring. So again, I want to ask you all, who's had an important mentor in your life? And if you've had a mentor, can you just say who that mentor was in your life that made all the difference in the world? Or who is making all the difference in your world? Okay, a math teacher, band directors. Who else has been important in your parents, your teachers, your mom, father? Anyone else? Okay, a voice teacher, UTSA alum, father, coach, grandparents, forensic teacher, their sister. Yes, mentoring is so important. And mentoring, we all have lots of mentors for different parts of our life. And at UTSA, we also recognize the importance of mentoring. And so that's why in your first year at UTSA, we make sure to connect you with mentors. And our mentors in FYE are peer mentors. These are students who are sophomores, juniors, and seniors. They come from all over Texas, the United States, internationally. They have majors in all sorts of places. They have lots of different hobbies, interests. And I hope that you'll check out our FYE Instagram today. We highlighted some of our mentors. Believe me, there's so much to highlight about our mentors and all their many different areas of interest, leadership. Please check out our FYE Instagram and you'll see that posted at the end of the presentation. But our mentors are dynamic. And so we know that mentors are important, and even more important, we know that students will listen more to a peer, and that's why we make sure that we provide at FYE a peer mentor. So what is it that peer mentors do when they work with you? Well, they do a lot of things. In addition to meeting with you at least 3 times of the semester, I can definitely guarantee you that they'll be contacting you every week, letting you know what's going on. And believe me, at a university like UTSA, it's always busy. Monday through Sunday, there's always something happening. And so their goal is to share what's going on. But not only are they sharing what's going on and meeting with you to understand and listen to you, like what's going on in your life, what questions you have, or maybe you want to share an experience, they'll also make sure that they go to events with you. Our peer mentors also host events. It's not uncommon for our peer mentors to host LinkedIn sessions, how to develop a resume, going to a lecture for some renowned researcher, or going to a great music event. Sometimes our mentors even host those de-stressing events. And I know right now we need them a lot. So it's not unusual that they've hosted dodgeball contests. I know that this past Thursday, one of our mentors hosted a de-stressing evening and had his mentees online and they played trivia. So our mentors are there to connect with students about academic and professional events, but also just to connect with you on all those different, share different information about those different resources. Our peer mentors are to make sure that you feel that you're a road runner from day one. So how is it that we connect you to a mentor? Well, all of you have come in to UTSA, or you're coming into UTSA with a major in mind, or maybe you have lots of majors in mind, and maybe there's going to be some majors you've never even heard of. So what we have at UTSA is what we do is we group all the majors into an umbrella group that we call academic studies. And at UTSA, there are 8 academic studies, and you see them displayed right here. So just want to go to the chat. Can some people shout out your major? And I am going to do my best to make sure that this is going to be a good quiz for me if I can shout out your academic studies. So majors, business, you're in business studies. Cybersecurity, it's actually 2 possibilities. There's cybersecurity in business, and there's also computer science with a cybersecurity focus in engineering, mathematics, and sciences. ME is in engineering, mathematics, and sciences. Biology is life and health sciences. Communication is social sciences and public policy. So is political science. Architecture has their architecture, construction, and planning. Let's see, B&E, so biomedical engineer, that's engineering, mathematics, and sciences. Nursing, so that is largely in life and health sciences. Okay, all right, so you can see that there's a diversity of majors. And so at UTSA, we have these 8 academic studies, and these are really important in a number of ways. If we didn't, oh, okay, somebody said, well, I'm undeclared. What should where do I fall in there? We have an academic studies for you, and that is exploratory. So exploratory, it's just that. It's going to help you either find a major, or maybe you have 20 majors that you're thinking about, will help you narrow your choice. So that's exploratory studies. All right. So I want to let you know just how academic studies impacts us at FYE and you. So academic studies is how we use academic studies to pair you with an appropriate mentor. And so let me talk a little bit about that. So at FYE, all first-year students coming in participate in the first-year experience. That's all incoming students. And you participate in a number of ways. So at FYE, we pair mentors in 2 classes. We have AIS, the Academic Inquiry and Scholarship class. So AIS is a degree requirement, or you'll hear sometimes the term a core degree requirement. When you hear core degree requirement, that means anybody who graduates with a UTSA degree has to complete that requirement. So AIS is a course that everyone completes, and they complete that in their first year. There's also UPM, University Peer Mentorship Experience. And so UPM 1000 is another course, and that is all the peer mentors. And so I know Sigfredo is going to talk a little bit about that. But in each of those courses, when you're enrolled in them, you will be paired with a peer mentor. And in those courses, the offerings, while there is an AIS offering and a UPM offering, there's multiple versions of these courses. And what I mean by that is there's the AIS for business studies. There's the AIS for life and health sciences. There's the AIS for social sciences and public policy. Same with UPM. We also offer UPM according to the different academic studies. So we have a UPM for exploratory studies. So you get the picture. When you come in, you'll take these courses, and in these courses, though, you'll be in your specific academic studies, and you'll have a mentor in each of these courses. So I'm going to switch it over to Sigfredo so he can share with you a little bit more about AIS and UPM. Sigfredo?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. So the AIS portion of FYE is more of the in-person portion. So basically, you're having those meetings once every month, but you're still having a professor and a mentor who host those classes, and they're both knowledgeable on that academic study. So for example, me, since I'm an accounting major, I'd be under the academic study of business, and all other 50 students in that classroom would be the same. So potentially it could be co-workers in the future. You never know. But okay. So besides that, next, Dan.
Sorry, I think I was trying to complete a chat and realized I got up. Okay.
Okay. So so since it is that academic study that you're focused around, the big thing that we focus on is that signature experience, and being in that signature experience, it means like being acclimated to your academic study. So for example, if you're a business student, your project for this semester might be making a business model for the festival day. When you look at budget analysis, cost analysis, marketing, the whole purpose of this is so you have a real life experience as well as being able to explore these different features, such as maybe you're interested in marketing or you might want to do accounting. You're able to do each one of these and then be able to do a project full time. So that's a huge thing. We're also focused on developing your communications, leadership skills, and teamwork skills so that when you're going out to the workforce, you know how to interact. So that's a huge thing that AES does. So it's mainly the in-person portion with your peer mentor. Next. And then you also have UPM, which is the online part of it. I really like UPM myself because I feel like you connect more with the student per se. So you connect through Blackboard, which is one of our programs that we use to give out course content, but you also connect through email, phone call, group meet, anything of the sort. And it's the same thing. You don't have the class and the professor, but you're still meeting with your mentor once every month. So it's just a different atmosphere, but it's the same thing. We're trying to give that year-long peer mentorship experience so that you feel that transition from being a high school student to being a college student. Next. And as I was saying, so it doesn't matter regardless if you take IS in the fall or in the spring, you're going to have to do it the whole year. So the whole thing is giving you the experience year long. It's not one that's preferred throughout the other. So that's like a huge thing that they emphasize. Next. Who are our peer mentors? Well, our peer mentors we have about 97 peer mentors right now, and they are leaders. They are involved on campus. They have high academic grades. They also are well trained in how to navigate the university so they can assist you. One of the biggest things that us as peer mentors emphasize throughout the school is attending sports events, getting involved in student organizations, doing community service, anything that makes you a well-versed student. On top of that, we assist students to help to talk to professors. Maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to a professor. Maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to your roommate. We've all been in these situations. Me, for example, I still live in a dorm, so I know what it's like to have a new roommate every semester. So we're there just to help you acclimate. And it's not just focused on academics, but it's more of like a well-rounded students. So it could be like socially, it can be professionally. One of the things that I emphasize is joining organizations that help you in your major. For example, I'm in Alpha. So one of the things we emphasize is professional development. We do LinkedIn workshops. We do resume workshops. So it's not just looking at the academics, but it's also being well-versed. Next. So here we have a peer mentor panel. So it's like mainly questions that we get asked by either mentees or just incoming students. So I'll start off by asking Faizat one of these questions, and then she'll ask me the similar question. Faizat, you there?
I'm here.
So what was your freshman experience like?
My freshman year was definitely memorable. I learned a lot more about my strengths and weaknesses. I was able to join 2 organizations, which also promoted a lot of volunteering hours outside of campus. I made friends, and thanks to my peer mentors, I learned about how to utilize different resources, both like on campus, but then also just like resources for college students. How about you, Sigfredo? What was your freshman experience like?
And I believe that like once I started getting involved the following semester, it helped me get acclimated to the environment. So I know it's like a bunch of new experiences and I've been there and you're going to be there, but it's getting involved and being able to join those organizations to grow as a person and embracing that UTSA spirit, because there's so many events that we host. maybe it be like organization day where you get to explore all those organizations, that you don't just have to pick one organization or just go in there blind. We have events for you to understand those organizations, see what academic resources we have, and obviously us as peer mentors are there to help. So I believe my first year experience was eye-opening up until I met my mentor and I felt like I was able to connect to the school. Following question is going to be, as a peer mentor, how do you support incoming students, Liza?
I serve as a friend that has experienced part of the things they're currently experiencing. I support them by listening to them, connecting them to resources both on campus and in the San Antonio area. I also support them by celebrating their achievements. I know my mentees, they do they'd like to text me about how their exams went or presentations in class, and also validating their experiences and worries about being a college student. How do you support incoming students?
So one of the biggest things I do, and I feel like everyone really likes, is being able to relate to them, to tell them like, I've been there, I've been through the experiences, and share experiences with them. For example, like I said with a roommate, I've had lots of mentors who have problems with roommates, and I've had previous problems with my roommates. So I can speak onto that, see how to best diffuse situations. My whole thing is relating to them and helping them grow as a college student. So that's one of the biggest things I do, is relate to my student and just help them in anything I can, whether it's campus resources, the personal life, but overall, it's not academics, there's mental health aspect of it. So I always see that they're able to time manage and get that time for themselves and be able to understand that there's a balance between a student and also being a college student. So that's one of the biggest things I do, relatable. Last question we have here is, what advice would you give an incoming first year student, Faizat?
I think while it's important to utilize all available resources or organizations on campus, I think it's also imperative that you get familiar with what the organizations will offer you. So pretty much every organization will require something of you, whether that's your time, ideas, or money in form of membership fees. But you should also know what you get from being a member, beyond the things that goes into your resume, beyond volunteering hours. You should really know exactly what the organizations will offer to you. What advice would you give to incoming freshman students?
The biggest thing that I always say is start early. Start as early as you can in every aspect when I refer to that. So whether it's starting to look for internships, maybe even your freshman year, that might seem a little early, but there's programs and internships that they start you off as a freshman so that every year you have an internship and have a job after your senior year. And I didn't realize that till later on. Maybe I missed a situation such as that. Whether it's starting early to talk to your professors and make those connections that you need for graduate school, for reference letters, whether it's looking for research opportunities. I have a peer mentor. I had a mentor of my own that a mentee, my bad, that I told her that she could talk to department heads about other opportunities. She reached out to one and she was able to do rat implants on her freshman year. It's small things like that of just reaching out to people and starting early to make you grow as a person. So my thing is to start early.
Good. All right, now moving on to the next slide. These are some of the words that our first year students use to describe their peer mentors. As you can see on your screen, some of the highlighted words are amazing, polite, knowledgeable, sweet, relatable. My favorite one is amazing, and that's because my freshman year, it felt really good when my peer mentor recognized me at HEB and she came to say hello. So I didn't expect that. So that was very nice of her. Also, next slide. In a survey from last fall about their peer mentor experience, one first year student shared that not only is my mentor another resource to help with the transition into college, she genuinely cares about us as individuals. It feels as easy as hanging out with a friend while also preparing us for what to expect in college and giving us advice on how to be successful here. Another mentee shared in another slide that my peer mentor was outgoing and went beyond my expectations on making UTSA a better, suitable environment for me as a freshman. I'm lucky to have a mentor who really knows how to connect with the students and show them the ropes to be successful in and out of the classroom. But also, in addition to how mentees describe their peer mentors, I've also acquired so much from my mentees. I remember last spring, I was assigned a veteran student, and at first I was a bit uncertain about how to portray the peer mentor-mentee relationship, given the fact that he's the peer mentee at that time, who's a non-traditional student. But it turned out to be one of the best interactions. I learned so much about his time in the military, and also about emergency medicine, because that's what he did. So you see that not only do we get to share our knowledge and first year experience with our mentees, but we also learn a lot from them. Next slide. So now that we've shared the vital roles that our peer mentor play in your first year experience, remember that it takes two people to maintain the relationship. So in order for the mentee-mentor relationship to grow and be effective, both parties need to work together. So here's what's required of you as a mentee. One, you should schedule a meeting with your mentor at least once per month. So that's so you can meet your 3-meeting requirement for the semester. Also, utilize your peer mentor as a social, academic, and professional development resource. Attend campus workshops and events. Our peer mentors also do a good job of presenting like weekly events going on campus during their presentations, either in class or on Blackboard if it's a UPM peer mentor. And lastly, ask questions. Next slide. Okay, so through FYE, UTSA demonstrates its commitment to student success. First, FYE provides a year-long transition experience to UTSA students through the AIS section and the UPM section. FYE connects students to mentors and to help them explore their major and career interests. And also remember that students are usually paired with mentors that share similar academic studies, and sometimes you may share a similar career path with your peer mentor. Next slide. So the reason we have peer mentors is so you can reach your goal of graduating. At UTSA, we're committed to student success. At FYE, our goals are to ensure student embrace and feel a part of the UTSA community. And we're definitely looking forward to an opportunity to share the UTSA's first year experience with you. Now, if you could all please take out your phone. In the next slide, we'll share the FYE contact information with you. I'll give you all a second to get out your phone. So yeah, go ahead and take a picture of this. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. I assume everyone's got a picture of that. All right, so next slide. Ms. Clarissa, do you mind reading some of the questions in the chat?
We didn't get a lot of questions. I know some of the questions that we did get was if you're undeclared or if you have a major, can you go to undeclared? You definitely can. But there's some things that might be affected by doing that. So we want to make sure that you do set up an appointment with your advisor and kind of walk through that process of making sure that everything's good. Another question that we had was, is there a program that gets us started here that we can transfer into other schools? For example, animal science. There may be, but again, that's more of an in-depth advising session. And walking through what you want to do and making sure that you meet those requirements. Let me see if we have, can we change majors before school starts? You definitely can. You would want to contact orientation at utsa.edu to get that started. I have over 30 hours worth of credit, dual credit. Does UTSA help in graduating early? Has anyone, any of you been a dual credit student, or Diane, can you answer that, or? I don't know.
What was the question again?
Having dual credit, they have 30 hours of dual credit, and does UTSA help in graduating early?
Yes, they do. You just have to, so you'd go to the UTSA ASAP and you'll accept those credits. But I'd advise talking to an advisor first, because sometimes if you accept too many, it might mess up with your degree plan. So you should do it based on how your advisor sees it best fit. But you can do it on your own as well through UTSA ASAP. So it'll automatically transfer. You just have to make sure your transcripts are in from that community college.
I definitely want to emphasize what Fredo said. We have a number of mentors who are actually graduating in 3 years. So it's really important, though, exactly what Sigfredo said, meeting with your advisor and really understanding what credits you should accept or not. And they can really help you plan out your time here at UTSA so you could graduate early.
And does it work the same for AP credits that you know of?
It should work the same. I'm not sure. I think that one you actually have to go directly to the advisor. I don't think you can accept dual credit from ASAP.
I accepted AP credits, and I did meet up with my advisor prior to that, but I think I was able to do it through ASAP too. Yeah. Good. So you're also able to accept AP credits.
I was going to say that it's so important to plan your, because I know there are some of our students, because of credits and their planning, they're able to apply for a tuition rebate because they are staying under the required number of hours, or don't quote me specifically, but there's definitely a rebate if you like don't go over like taking lots of extra classes. So that's really helpful.
We're getting a lot of questions about advisors and when do you meet them and how do you know who your advisor is when planning for classes?
Okay, so so UTSA is going to be offering an online orientation. After you complete online orientation, you're going to be able to schedule a meeting with your academic advising center. And most of the centers are named the same way that you saw the academic studies. There are some exceptions, but when you sign up for an appointment, your advisor, you're going to be designated an advisor, and your advisor will be reaching out to you, or when you might just meet them when you have your advising appointment. And your advisor is going to be, they will have looked at your file. They will have also looked at any incoming credit that UTSA has received. And so just remember, if you're getting oriented or meeting with your advisor in June, you and your advisor won't have all the information about your AP credit, because the AP credit score results will be in July. So you and your advisor are going to best plan for what credits you have earned up to that time. And it may be possible, and it definitely is possible, and you should do this, touch base with your advisor throughout the summer, especially once your credits come in. You might need to change some of the fall classes that you registered for in June, might be a little different in July based on your results. Okay.
Do all freshmen have a peer mentor? If so, are they assigned? Do we need to find them ourselves?
Go ahead, Sifredo.
You can go. You got it. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, all peer mentors are actually assigned to freshman students. I know for AIS, you get this week during class time, because like as Sifredo said, they do attend classes with you throughout the semester. For UPM, they get in contact with you through Blackboard, so make sure you check your Blackboard. They'll probably email you or like post announcements on UPM on the Blackboard, but for sure your peer mentors will reach out to you when school starts.
If you check through the Blackboard page, as soon as you open it, it should state who your mentor is, and it'll give a bio description of who they are, so you know exactly who they are, and you can reach out to them through email, text, or anything of the sort. So,
what's your experience and how long advisors take to contact you back after meeting with them, or especially as a entering freshman after orientation? What was that process like with advisors meeting you?
Things are, I know now that orientation is online, I know it looks different, but when it was in person, it was usually like on the same day as orientation. But now I'm not really sure how like advisors will reach out to students once they complete their online orientation. But I don't know if Ms. Diane has a proper answer for that.
I don't have the latest information about how quickly it turns around. I just know that when you complete your online orientation, the advising center of your major gets notified, and then you will be able to schedule an appointment. So I don't know if they contact you and say you're ready to schedule your appointment, but I do know that it's going to be definitely something that turns around pretty quickly, but pretty quickly might be different to you and me. So I'm not going to say that if you finished your online orientation at noon today, I imagine that you'll be contacted within like at least 2 to 3 business days. So then you would set up an appointment with your advisor. And right now, I can't tell you what is the time from completing your online orientation to getting your appointment with your advisor. But the great thing is once your advisor meets with you, then you'll have their contact information, which includes their email address and phone. And let me tell you, now this virtual reality that we're all living, I can tell you that my business phone line, I actually get it at home. So I get calls on my business phone line at home and through my computer. So UTSA is set up for that. But we're using email very well. And I know advisors are also meeting through video and whatnot. I did see a question earlier. Sigfredo had mentioned about Blackboard, and Diana said, well, what is Blackboard? So at UTSA, Blackboard it's an online platform. So every class that a student has, there's going to be an online platform where they can connect into, they can log in, and that Blackboard class section will provide the syllabus, the faculty contact information. That's the way the faculty member will contact students. When students have to submit an assignment, it won't be like, if you're like me, old school, like before there was ever computers or internet or email or texting or anything like cell phones, we used to turn in our assignments in person to our professor. At UTSA, people submit their assignments online in Blackboard, and that's also where they'll see their grades, as well as be able to connect with the students in their class.
They also wanted to know, like, what happens during orientation as a first-year student, your 10 orientation, what happens during orientation?
Well, I think because of basically right now, because we're not having in-person orientation right now, it is strictly an online, almost like an online introduction to different resources at UTSA. And once you complete that introduction, it's going to be shorter. So we used to offer a 2-day in-person orientation, and so now it's going to be online. Obviously, it won't be 2 days of online modules. So I know that it's just a shorter introduction to UTSA, and once you complete that, then you'll be able to meet with your academic advisor. I will tell you that because of the changes, we obviously are going to adapt to. One of the most important weeks then when we return in the fall is going to be those first 2 weeks of school that we call Roadrunner Days. And that's where all the different departments, organizations, basically they're having events all day, like Monday through Sunday, different events to introduce you to those resources. And I'm going to say that it always served as almost like a second wave of orientation, and even now more so, it's almost going to be the first in-person introduction in terms of like meeting the people, going to the buildings.
Okay, what about class size? We did have questions about class size, and maybe you're not as social as some other people. How does that affect you in ways? So how can you answer that?
So freshman classes, am I muted? No, okay. So freshman classes are big classrooms and auditoriums just because everyone has to take those. But I mean, the auditoriums are huge, so not necessarily you have to sit next to anyone. So that's a good thing too. So it's a huge classroom, but there's a lot of people in them. So it's up until your major specific classes that the classroom started getting smaller to down to like around 20 people. So that first year is going to be pretty big classrooms.
All right. I know we have a lot of questions about orientation. I strongly advise that you please visit their website. A lot of the questions you're asking are on there. Orientation has been moved to online. Because of that, there has been differences in the amount that's going to be charged and different things like that. All that information is there, so I highly advise you to please visit that. I also highly advise you to visit your ASAP account if you haven't. How important is your ASAP account, students?
Very important.
You do everything there, whether it's financial aid, whether it's scheduling classes, everything's on there, whether you're scheduling, maybe it's for a specific like competency test, everything's on there. So Blackboard is more of like your homework assignments and stuff like that. And then ASAP is more of like you as a student overall, whether it's financial aid or anything of that sort. So they're both very important. So you should keep updated, and you'll get reminders when you access ASAP. It'll pop up as a reminder, like you owe money for like something specific of tuition, or if it's that you need to take something, or even as freshmen, when you need to take those math specific tests to get placed into classes, that will go through there as well. So placement exams.
Another thing, I'm not sure if it's been updated for incoming students, but you could also find your advisor's contact information through ASAP too.
Okay, I know I had a question here is that your ASAP hasn't been working. How do I get it back to working? I don't know if that means maybe you're not able to log in due to ID. I'm not sure. So I would contact One Stop Enrollment and see why that might be the issue. Because at this point, we haven't had any issues that we're aware of. I mean, that's not happening with ASAP account. So it just may be an issue with logging in. And so One Stop Enrollment can assist you with that. I did have someone say here, I thought it was an orientation session. It wasn't. We were doing peer mentoring first year experience. We did have another orientation session going on. So I apologize for that, but I strongly encourage you to, again, to visit our orientation website. Everything is being updated there. All your questions are valid, and believe me, they have answered there. So I highly recommend that you visit that website. And I think those are basically all the questions that we had for today. Again, we thank you for joining us for our peer mentoring first year experience. Now, we do have a survey that you can go ahead and submit. We encourage you to submit that. This is our first time doing UTSA Day virtual. So we're all new to this, and we're all trying to, again, just adapt to our new reality. But we're excited that you've joined us today. And we'll stay here and have the chat open just in case you do have a few more questions that maybe we can help you with. But that will be the end of the session for peer mentoring and first year experience. Again, thank you very much for joining us. Have the rest of a good weekend. Bye.